All right, so obviously you guys like the product. You told me that. So, when it comes to a company, what do you guys typically look for when you're looking for a contractor?
Reputable.
Absolutely. Have you guys ever had a bad experience with a contractor before?
My mother's had a couple of really bad ones.
Really? What
Yeah.
happened?
Um, just she had granite installed where every seam was obvious. They hadn't put it together right. They wouldn't back up their work, and they
Yeah.
promised her all of these things, and it didn't come through. So
It's frustrating.
it was really frustrating.
Did
It looks
she-
awful.
Then we put her on it.
Smooth sailing.
Oh, it's better.
Yeah, a lot of times people don't realize, like it's really important to find a good quality contractor. Do you know how often contractors go out of business?
Frequently.
It happens all the time.
A lot.
In fact, 90% of contractors go out of business in the first 3 to 5 years. Do you know why that is?
Don't make enough money, I guess. Don't sell enough projects. I don't know.
Actually, a lot of it has to do with, so let's say someone were to do something on your house, and typically if it's not a very good job, what ends up happening is you're gonna have issues with it in about 2 years, 3 years. So they're gonna have to keep going to these services of jobs that they've done in the past 2 years, right? So what ends up happening is that contractor, instead of getting new jobs where they make money, they're just constantly going back to these services and they're not making any money on these jobs, right?
Yeah.
And what ends up happening, they end up going out of business because they're not generating any revenue. They're just losing money.
Makes
So
sense.
what contractors do is they'll work for around 2-3 years, and then once they start noticing they're getting a lot of service requests, they will actually close shop, open under a new name, new license, and then they just do it all over again. So imagine if he did something on your house and you have an issue, you end up getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, because they could
Safe.
promise you anything, and then there's nobody to take care of the problem.
Absolutely. So, going back to what you said, you're looking for somebody who's reliable, someone who, I'm assuming, years in business is important to you.
So how long have you been in business?
16 years, but here's the kicker, under the same license. That's what's really important, is making sure that you're under the same license. That way, it's just like, that means that we've been servicing people, and, the philosophy of our company is we want to be able to provide things that are green and that it's a permanent solution, right?
That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Most of the time, people, when they're thinking of doing something on their house, they want to make sure that it's going to meet their goals, that they're going to get the best product at the best price, and that it's something that it's installed correctly. These are things that are obviously important to you, correct? I do want to show you guys, that we have been in business since '99. But the cool thing is the owners of our company, they have actually been in the construction industry for a lot longer than that. Okay, so it's safe to say that they're going to be able to do the job and do it right. Okay, I love showing people this. Okay, so obviously insurance is important, especially when you're doing something on a house and just pretty much anything in life. You want to make sure you're protected, right? Now most contractors, the minimum is $250,000, right?
That they have to carry?
They have to carry $250,000 per occurrence. So what do most contractors normally have their insurance at?
Oh, I'm sure it's 250.
You're right. Most contractors have it at $250,000. With ours, it's actually at $2 million. Okay. Now most houses in Southern California are less than $2 million. Okay. So what that means is something were to happen to the house. Let's say it burns down. Something, I don't know, right? Let's say my little fire experiment went bad. We'd have to burn the house down, or it burnt down. Then that would actually take care of it, right? Now, let's say it was just $250,000. What would happen? You guys would eventually have to pay a little bit of money, right? We don't want that to happen, okay? That's why it's really important that the $2 million, it covers everything for the house. It doesn't matter what happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it gives you guys the peace of mind knowing that no matter what happens, I'm safe, I'm protected, and my house is taken care of. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is something that's really important as well. You know, we have workers' compensation, so if anything were to happen, you know, and they get injured on the job, we're the ones that take care of their medical bills. We do all that kind of stuff. So you guys feel protected and safe, right? Obviously, that's something that's important to you, correct?
Yeah.
You know, we
You
also...
mean most contractors don't do that?
You don't really know what you're getting with contractors. Like, do you know how many contractors there are in the world? Or, excuse me, in the United States?
I have no idea.
4.2 million.
Oh.
That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you guys a question. We're here talking about the outside of the house. Let's say, you know, you're like, yeah, this makes sense, Kevin. We want to do this. You wouldn't want a roofer to do the outside of the house, would you? No, you would want someone
No,
that
I want
has-
somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, you want a person that specializes in it. That's one of the advantages of using a bigger company. So, for an example, the people that do our windows, the people that do our coating, the people that do our roofing, they all specialize specifically in that product. Like, for an example, the people that do the coating on the outside, do you know how long they've been doing it for? Over 20 years. Is it safe to say that they know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Hope so.
Right. You want to make sure that it's
So
done
were
correctly.
they doing it before the business actually started then?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that gives you guys the peace of mind knowing that they are, one, they're factory trained, they're professionals, and that they've been doing this for a really long time. So they know what they're doing. Obviously, that's important, right? You know, that's one of the problems with using just a general contractor. Have you guys ever heard the saying, jack of all trade?
Yeah.
Do you know what the rest of it is?
Master of none.
Exactly, yeah. So with us, we want them to be a master of something and just be a master at that. You know, that's the nice thing with our company is they specialize in something in particular, right? You know, a lot of people really like the work, you know, like they like that it's done correctly, it's done professionally. You know, if you look at this right here, you know, like it's flawless.
That's
You know, this right here is, so remember what I was talking with you guys about Flexon and it being exclusive to us. We have a private label with that product, so no one else can actually put that on residential homes. This is actually a letter from Tax Code of America, you know, stating like that we've been in good terms with them. They like working with us, so they feel comfortable. Like, yeah, we want you guys to be successful. We've made this specifically for you guys, right? You know, that's also from Jay Haynes, who's the CEO of the company. In fact, I actually have a picture with him. You guys want me to show you?
No, I
I'm
don't
just
care.
kidding. I'm just kidding. You don't have to worry about it. All right. So, you know, obviously, since you guys were talking about solar, you know, you guys seem like you're very environmentally friendly or conscious of it, right? So I'm assuming...
We live in California, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. So one of the cool things here is this is... Let's see. What's this guy's name? I can't see it. I'm blind right now. This guy right here, he
Andre.
actually... You can... Oh, man.
Good
We might have
job.
to switch rooms in a second.
Thanks.
So, but the cool thing with this right here is he is actually in charge of the U.S. Department of Energy. Pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of who this guy is.
Isn't he one of the Kennedys?
He is, you're right. Yeah, it's Robert Kennedy Jr. And he is all about green energy. You know,
Who's this?
this is actually the owner of our company. His name is Ron. Yeah. All right. So another reason why a lot of homeowners like working with us is because, one, we've been tested, tried and true, right? So for an example, the Electric and Gas Industries Association, they're essentially a watchdog for, you know, bigger companies to vet smaller companies. So for an example, you've obviously heard of GE, you know, you've heard of Wells Fargo, you've heard of these big established Fortune 500 companies, correct?
Mhm.
Right. So what they do is when they want to partner with another company, what they do is they actually use this organization and they do all the research and figure out who is a reliable, safe company that hasn't had any issues, pending warranties, any you know, things of fraud, nothing. So it makes you guys feel protected and safe. And they've done all the research for these big companies to feel comfortable working with us as well. Does that make sense for
Yeah.
you guys? Right? It makes you
does.
guys feel a lot better. And then this right here is GE. They're
I see that
giving us a
there.
letter as well. Yeah. Now, we have two options. We can either read this whole thing or we can summarize it really quick.
Summarize it.
We're in a hurry.
So basically an overview. So this is actually GE. This is their newsletter. So it's safe to say we're doing something right, you know, considering that we're in GE's newsletter, right? So going through it, it's basically saying that they like us for reliability, customer satisfaction, integrity, quality, and fair prices. Is it safe to say that that's what everybody wants? And if that's coming from GE, that GE is putting their name and their brand on the line by saying something like that. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. So, have you guys ever heard of qualified remodelers?
No.
I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
All right. So, it's like Forbes 500, right?
Okay.
So, so it basically gets all of the top contractors in the United States, right? Now, remember we were talking about that there's 4.2 million. Okay. What if I were to tell you? Let me ask it this way: if we were 100,000 out of 4.2 million, would you feel comfortable working with us?
I don't know.
Still kind of high, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
still really good out of the 4.2 million. What if we were 10,000?
It's better.
Getting closer, yeah. What about 1,000 out of 4.2 million?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's a
Yeah,
company
that's
you're
pretty
like,
darn
oh
good.
yeah, we'd feel comfortable working with them.
Yeah.
Top 100, pretty much no brainer, right?
Yeah.
We are in the top 25. Okay, we are actually 24th in the entire country.
This says 100.
I know it gets better. So you see this? 2007. What happened in 2007 with the housing market? The market crashed, right? Now, if you look at this, we did essentially $9 million. I love showing people this. The year after, we did 13. We actually grew when the
Wow.
housing market tanked. So what does that mean?
That's pretty great because people don't have money. Didn't have money to do anything with. So
Right?
That's actually speaking good
Yeah, it
for the
speaks
company.
volumes.
Yeah, it does.
Every year we have grown. Now, one of the reasons why homeowners love working with us is because they love our customer service. They feel safe. They always understand what the next step is. And since they feel comfortable with us, they want to do more business with us. What if I told you guys 70% of the homeowners that we work with do multiple jobs with us? That's really good.
nice.
Now,
That's really
if
good.
you think about it, most
That
contractors
means they're happy with you. They're
exactly
Gonna come back
as
for
a
more.
contractor. Is it safe to say you have one opportunity with that homeowner? Right? If I were to make a mistake on your house, would you ever use me again?
Probably not.
Right? And that's why it's so big that homeowners, 70% are like, yeah, I want to do multiple jobs. The philosophy of the company is we want to be able to provide a positive experience, something that's permanent. That way you guys feel comfortable and you want to do something, because we realize most homeowners want to do multiple jobs on their house. Like, for an example, here we are, we're talking about the outside of the house, but multiple times you've talked with me about solar. I'm already like, oh, okay, well, see, they already want to do multiple things, right? It's just the way of, homeowners. They want to do more things. And if you look at this, yeah, it's always showing you,
Yeah, an increase.
we've been
everything.
growing.
Yeah.
Like last year we did $34 million in business. And here's what's crazy. We are actually the largest remodeling company in Southern California. That's pretty amazing, right?
That is.
So it's safe to say, this is a company that you would be, something that you would feel comfortable with, right? All right.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Now, the reason why a lot of people love working with us is this page right here. This is what's called the Certificate of Completion. What if I were to tell you that we can actually do a job. Like we don't need your money. We're a big company, right? We don't need your money. We don't need 40% down to do a job, okay? If that's something that you want to do, great. If not, we don't need that, okay? So the nice thing about this is the ball is in your court, okay? So that way you do not have to pay until you're 100% satisfied.
Anything?
All you would have to do is a good faith deposit, and that's it.
And what's the good faith deposit?
I'll show you guys that in a bit.
Okay.
But what's nice is the fact that it's like you don't have to have all this upfront money, because maybe you're concerned about, you know, doing something on your house and you don't want to be taken advantage of, right? You want to make sure that, you know, you get what you pay for. And is it safe to say that the person that's doing work on your house, you want to make sure that like they're going to do everything to your liking, or they're not going to get paid, right? That's why a lot of people like working with us, because of this page right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. A lot of people really like that. All right. So this is a before and after picture right here. So this is actually in Rancho Penasquitos. You guys might be familiar with the area. I was working with a gentleman named Bill Dibble. Okay. He was wanting to do something to his house. He was actually thinking about selling it. And I talked with him about some of the values of, you know, putting this on your house. It boosts the value of your home. So, you know, we put the Flex on his house. There was a couple, you know, issues with his home. The house was a little bit bigger than your guys's, and he ended up spending around $27,300. All right. And the cool thing is it's a permanent solution. We were able to do this, and then, you know, he had some issues in the back of his house as well, and he liked it that it was a permanent solution, and it took care of everything, right? This right here is actually, remember we were talking about fire retardants? This right here is actually a house in Tierra Santa. Are you guys familiar with San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was in Tierra Santa, okay? This is the outside of the house. They actually had a news clip with what actually happened. So they had a miracle home in this cul-de-sac, so it didn't actually burn to the ground like everything else. These are the actual pictures of it. It actually has our product on it. Isn't that incredible?
It is.
Right? All right. Now, you remember I told you about Bill and about him thinking of selling the house or boosting the value of his home. So this is a real live example. We have a guy named Eric. He flips homes here in Los Angeles. And with this house, it was on the market for 3 months. He was having a really hard time selling it. He knows the owners of our company. Yeah. And so he was just like, hey, I'm trying to sell this house. What do you guys think I should do? The owners were like, dude, put Flex on and windows on your house. It'll boost the value of your home, and market it as a green home. He spent $50,000 doing that. Then he raised the value of his asking price. 2 people ended up bidding for it, and it ended up raising an additional $50,000 on top of his asking price.
Wow.
So he actually made money putting this on the house. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, if you look at this stuff here, it's countless testimonies. This is why people just love working with us. Like, testimonies is an obvious sign of why, like, okay, yeah, they're doing something right. This right here is just a commercial job that we're doing, you know, it's just an HOA, you know, but another example too. This one right here, this is Wendy Sanchez. She actually lives in South Los Angeles, okay? Now, with her, you know, there's a lot of wood on her house, so there was a lot of termite damage. Okay?
Is this wood or siding?
It's wood siding, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can see it's chipping, it's
yeah.
fading. It's pretty bad, right? You know, she was thinking of restuccoing her entire house. She ended up getting a quote for like $37,000. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so much money. You know, so what we did instead was, you know, we talked about Flex on, and she liked the idea of it permanent, and we were able to actually take care of her wood. She ended up spending $26,300, and she was just like, dude, this is perfect. This makes sense to me, right? You know, one and done, right? So what I want to do now is actually want to go over the warranty with you guys of the actual product. Okay, everything seems hunky dory, correct? Now, based on the actual the company, what are some things that really jumped out to you that you're like, oh, I really like this company?
I like the fact that it's in the top 25. That
Right?
really
It
makes
almost
me feel very secure in the company.
it's pretty much a no-brainer. This is a company you would want to work with, correct?
All right.
Yeah. You know, so obviously you like the product and the company. It pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, even being in the newsletter for GE, that's pretty amazing.
It
GE is
is.
one of the biggest companies in the world. You know. Yeah. So, I mean, what about you? What would you like?
I like that you've been in business for a while. You know, I don't like dealing with somebody that just started the company. Not that I don't, you know, think
You want
people
someone
should
with a
start
track
a company,
record, right?
I
You know,
do.
like last year we did 3,000 jobs. You know, you want someone that knows what they're doing. So yeah, it's safe to say this is a company you guys would want to work with, correct? Okay, great. So let me go over the warranty with you guys. Okay.